Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of An Entrepreneur's Mind powered by Include Space. Today we have someone very special on the show, Stephen Shedletzsky. And Stephen has been working as a brand experience and igniter at Simon Sinek Incorporation. He has been my mentor, someone from whom I have learned so much. I'm so grateful to have you, Stephen, on the show.
Thanks, Nikhil. It's great to see you again. It's been some time.
Yes. Stephen, to quickly get started, can you tell us more about your current work that you're doing and how you are coping up with the COVID-19 situation out there?
Sure. I've worked with Simon Sinek for close to a decade, which is, I think, is like 37 years in millennial years. I started answering fan email years back, which is a great way to learn about our content and our brand. And bit by bit, I've earned some trust and have done more and more. So now I lead brand experience, helping to ensure, first and foremost, that we practice what we preach, that what we dare put in a book or say on a stage, we live internally with our leaders and our culture. It's not my responsibility. It's all of our responsibilities on our team, but it's something I'm very passionate about. I help ensure that everything that goes to the outside world, our products, our marketing, our social, our speakers and facilitators represent our most deeply held values and beliefs, that it feels as though it's coming from Simon or feels like it's from Simon's likeness. And then I get to go out and do this work myself, sharing ideas, running workshops, helping people adopt an infinite mindset to put purpose and their people first. And in terms of these COVID times, I mean, I'm really thankful, as I know you are as well, that we have our why, our purpose, our reason for being,
Yes.
and our just cause, our vision of the future, what we wish to create, which, as you said, is a world in which the vast majority of people wake up inspired, feel safe wherever they are, and finish their day at work, whether it's from home or wherever it might be right now, feeling fulfilled, that their work has value greater than simply the tangible output, that it helps improve people's lives for the better. And we've pivoted. So, a mere 3 months ago, the vast majority of our revenues, because revenues are important, it's still blood and or fuel for the car. But the point of the car is to go places. We don't buy a car just to put fuel in it. We buy a car to go somewhere. And so we've pivoted. And the definition of pivot is to move around a central axis. So we've pivoted what we do, but we're definitely the same and clear on why it is that we're doing it and the vision of the world we wish to advance. And so, a mere 3 months ago, nearly all of our revenues came from being live in rooms, doing talks, doing workshops, and that shriveled up in a week. And so we've launched a brand new live online classes business where we take all the things that we used to do in a room and we do it to help people in these times to find their purpose, to live their purpose, to build trust from behind a computer, to pivot. So we've built this robust online marketplace of live classes, and it's been a lot of fun.
Wonderful. I have been going through the classes as well. I'm sure it's going wonderfully great. And so, Stephen, to move further, just curious how the journey started and what's your why?
Sure. My why is to engage with people in meaningful ways so that we connect with depth and live in a more fulfilled world. And it nests nicely under Simon's why. Simon, our founder, his why is to inspire people to do what inspires them, so that together we can change our world for the better. And I graduated from business school. I got a good, desirable job. It was a rotational leadership development program at a large corporation. And like leadership was in the title. And I was fascinated with leadership. It's what I gravitated towards in my studies. It's what I was passionate about, and still am passionate about. I just neglected to ask during the interview process how they defined the term leader or leadership, because it turns out there's no standard definition. And whereas I was defining it from a definition of service, to
Right.
take care of those in your span of care. Um, I found that the organization that hired me more so saw it as authority, profit and loss, um, more management things.
Right.
Not unimportant, but just not what inspires. And so I very quickly fell out of love with my career path. I was climbing a ladder that I had no interest in climbing.
Mhm.
A mentor showed me Simon's TED Talk because I said to him, I was moving into a marketing role. And I said to this mentor, I don't know what to do. I'm moving into a marketing role for an organization where I don't believe what they sell and how they sell it. And he said, watch this video. And I fell in love with Simon's ideas, his vision of the world, the way he articulates things. I went, yes, that. Um, yeah, my sort of journey in my career of what I wanted to do became very clearly born from pain. I
Mhm.
was unfulfilled, unmotivated, uninspired,
Mhm.
disengaged. I wanted to feel the very opposite. And somehow, probably because I'm human, I
Mhm.
figured out that the greatest way to feel the opposite was to help others feel inspired, safe, fulfilled, engaged, motivated. And motivation comes from within, right? We can't motivate somebody. We
Right.
can create the conditions such that they feel motivated.
Right.
And so I devoted my life to that work. And fortunately, I got lucky and met Simon at the right place and the right time, and have been able to do it with him. But I'd be doing this work with or without him. I feel very grateful that it's with.
Something that I'm passionate about, and I'm taking this forward. Something that I have learned from you, the same kind of a journey that I have started back in 2015. Do you remember those days when when we used to get onto the meetings, and I was kind of so anxious to get on with this, and to make to change this world into a better place. And I was so passionate about doing these things, but sooner or later I realized that it takes time, and leadership is about patience, and serving those who are in need will require a lot of risk taking ability, and leaders of course go first and take the risk and do that. so
Yeah.
so Stephen, something that I have learned from you is also about self awareness. How do you define self awareness?
Huh. I mean, self I mean, it's knowing about yourself, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, having an ability to admit what you do know and what you don't know. um I was on a call with Simon last night, and he expressed on a team call something he needed support with. So I gave him a call and I said, hey, like, I might be able to help you with it. And he
Mhm.
said, well, I need someone to help essentially project manage. And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, that's not me, like, not my strength.
Mhm.
Like, if you mold me into a pretzel, sure, but like, not my thing. He's
Right.
like, yeah, that's why I didn't ask you. I'm like, got it. So I think self-awareness is a constant willingness and drive
Mhm.
to learn about yourself, to learn about your strengths, to learn about your blind spots, to admit you aren't perfect, and to constantly ask for and learn from feedback from others,
Right.
particularly those that you admire and respect,
Right.
and the ones that you rub the wrong way, and you're like, can you tell me what's up, like, what's going on here?
Mm.
And then a willingness to strive to get better.
Mm.
um, and I think there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is thinking you're better than everyone. Confidence is knowing you're good. But when you have confidence, you have a desire always to get better.
Right.
I know some exceptionally confident people who have every right to have huge egos, and they do. But as soon as someone says, I have an idea, or I think we can make this better, they are all in, and they
Right.
want to listen to that. You
Right.
know, and what you're saying before as well. I mean, I remember those days years ago, and I think those amongst us who lead shift the narrative from if only I had, if only this, if only I was given this opportunity,
Right.
to leaders are the ones who say someone should do something about this,
Right.
and I'm someone,
Right.
and just do whatever you can to contribute, which you're doing, which is so fantastic, and which is why I love having this conversation years later, to see what you've built and are continuing to build, which warms my heart. I just lost you. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I was saying you have been an inspiration along for my journey. Past 3 years, whatever I have been able to build, it is small, but yet whatever I have been able to do is mostly that what I have learned from Simon and people like you, which inspired me to move further. And I'll anyhow keep moving further and keep bringing people in and keep bringing their stories so that we can inspire more and more people together.
Fantastic. No, I pay you a lot of credit for what you've done and what you've taken from our conversations and done something about. So kudos to you. And it's all based in service. It's
Yes.
not about you. It's about serving others. So I give you a hat tip, sir.
I do. I give it to you too.
Thank you.
Right. All right, Stephen. To quickly move further, uh,
Sure.
one challenge that you faced during your entire journey, one difficult moment that you faced, and how did you come out of it?
Just one. Um, I
The most
mean,
difficult one.
what's that? Sorry.
The most difficult one.
I mean, so I'm trying to think one that stands out the most. It's I think this is one for me, and it's come up multiple times, which means that there's a theme here for me. One is which, when um you want to contribute and feel like you can contribute, but you're not in a position where you can. Um there have been plenty of times in my career and still to this day where I want to be involved, I want to help, I want to be important or feel important. Um, and when I'm not in that role, my narrative can run and I can do some unproductive things. And so for me, it's focus on what's on my plate and what's in my control. Raise my hand, have conversations with people who, where I have something to help or give, and see if it's needed. I'm a big believer in passion and opportunity meeting. Just because you have the passion, there still needs to be the opportunity. There still needs to be a willingness. And I've become very obsessed in building trust. Like I know that every single one of my successes in my life or career, there's a direct correlation with somebody believing in me, somebody trusting me and taking a risk on me. And so, for any entrepreneur or individual who thinks, it's all about you, no, it's not. It's what are the conditions you're creating that people are willing to take a risk on you, which could be an early hire, an early customer, an early vendor. Um, and so, yeah, for me, it's, a challenge is when I want to be contributing more, but I'm not, how can I? And for me, it's, move toward the people who I think my ideas might be able to help, build trust, offer help, see what I can do. And if not, focus on what's on my plate and rock it out of the park, and do as well as I possibly can. For the benefit of others always.
Right. So to make this more fun, uh,
I'm
suppose
I'm I-
suppose
I'm having fun already.
yeah, to make this more fun. That's why
Cool.
to make this
Cool.
more fun. Suppose Stephen Shedletzsky never met Simon Sinek. What you would have done now at this time, if suppose you had to start a business,
Sure.
and we have about $500 sitting in our bank, and
Hmm.
how would you utilize that amount? But I would give one thing to you. You know your why. What would
Yep.
you start, and how would you do it?
So I care deeply about human connection.
Hmm.
My why to engage with people in meaningful ways so that we connect with depth and live in a more fulfilled world. That's what I said before.
Right.
And if I started from scratch right now,
Mm-hmm.
in these times of physical distancing,
Mm-hmm.
in these confusing times where people in our world who are just as human as you and me are being treated less human,
Right.
systemically or otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would do something to help create deeper and more human connection. And it would, probably involve Zoom, probably involve tens or hundreds of people if possible,
Right.
probably involve breakout rooms,
Right.
involve, deep open-ended questions to allow people to learn more about themselves and about others and the world around them,
Mm-hmm.
and make the world a place where more and more of us feel fulfilled by our everyday.
Mm-hmm.
And fulfillment to me is using our strengths to contribute to something bigger than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be doing the same thing that I'd be doing. I'd go on LinkedIn and I'd say, hey, are you feeling uh are you hopping on Zooms, but it's just about work and you're struggling, I would do something where I'd just say, come on and let's build deeper relationship with yourself and the people around you, and
Mm-hmm.
get clear on what makes you love every day and have more of those days. So
Wonderful.
I'd probably invest in a Zoom account,
Okay.
some internet,
Okay.
and get on and start helping people with the thing that I love doing most, which is engaging with them.
All right. All right.
Does that sound fun?
That definitely sounds fun. The reason behind asking this question is because for people to understand, once your why is clear, then challenging times like these as well, you can ride smooth.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure if it's riding smooth, but I think because like so many individuals and organizations right now are going through an existential crisis that if they
I
don't make a shift,
right.
like but I think what you point to is clarity.
Clarity. Exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
like we've made a profound shift in our business. There are people who are doing brand new jobs.
Right.
We've trained people to be Zoom producers. They've never been Zoom producers before. We've put people in customer service who have not done customer service
Mhm.
either ever or in years.
Right.
We've done we've totally shifted and pivoted, but we're staunch on our cause,
Exactly.
which I think is the point that you're trying to make, which is, you know, it, if you're an entrepreneur and a startup, you're not about the widget. You're not about the product or service. You're about what that product or service provides. As Zig Ziglar said, people don't buy drills, they buy holes. What's
Right.
your hole? Like, what's the solution you're providing for people? And then how can you pivot and provide it in different ways?
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Stephen, if you have superpower to change one thing in this world right now,
Hmm.
what would you do? Apart
uh,
from the COVID-19 situation.
sure. Um, uh, I just think an ability for everyone to just treat people as people.
Mhm.
um, for everyone to know that the person on the other side of the screen or of their interaction or of anything is just a human being who's trying to do the best they can with the tools they have,
Right.
and that I have an inherent belief that people are good,
Mhm.
um, and we just need to put people in environments that enable them to do more good. So yeah, I think there's so much unfairness, there's so much wrong in our world today that if we just had an ability for more and more of us to treat people as the human beings that we are, we'd live in a better world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, one thing that Stephen agrees with, but most of them completely disagree to it.
hmm What one thing that I believe that people disagree with?
Yes, exactly.
Uh, I don't know. Do you have ideas? I I'm not sure. I think a lot of the ideas that I have about the world are I don't think right or better, but I think they're good and decent.
Right.
I don't pretend to know everything.
Mhm.
I constantly try to learn, but
Mhm.
well, here's one thing that I feel very strongly in that I don't think everyone sees. I think there's a hubris about humanity. I think that human beings think that the world belongs to us. We're not owners, we're renters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And right now we're being pretty bad tenants.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Well, so you agree, but I don't think I think too often we think that the earth belongs to us.
Yes. Yes.
And when we treat it like that, uh, as a disposable thing, it will be disposable because we will ruin it for us,
Right.
not for others, but just for us. And so I think we need to have a greater humility, um,
Mm,
that even though I own this house,
mm, mm.
or at least I own most of it, the bank only owns a little bit of it.
Right.
Even though I own this house,
Mm,
I think that's something that I think if we establish that mindset, we'd go, oh yeah, we need to leave things better than when we found them. And right now we're not. We're taking things for ourselves too much.
yeah. This comes from an attitude of abundance and feeling grateful of whatever we have, and most people lack it these days, I suppose. So, Stephen, one advice for entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, that you would like to give, and people starting business right now.
Go together. You know, there's the proverb, to go fast, go alone; to go far, go together.
Oh, yes,
Um,
yes,
you know, uh, Teamwork takes trust, and trust takes risk.
yes,
There's no leader that I know that has said, "I'll trust my people when they prove to me that they're trustworthy." You
yeah,
lead with trust. You
right,
trust until proven otherwise, and when you're proved otherwise, you have the hard conversation
yes,
of, "Here's how, I feel let down," or "Here's the reason I'm struggling
right,
with you," or with trust. But Yeah, I mean, I think, Simon's taught me this, that life changes for the better when we admit to ourselves and others that we don't have all the answers, and that we don't have to pretend that we do. And
exactly,
it's quite attractive when you're like, this is what I know, this is what I believe, this is what I'm good at, this is where I've got holes and I need help.
right,
And when you believe in something bigger than yourself, and you have the vulnerability and humility to say, here's where I'm great and here's where I need help, people rush, people come to your aid.
mm,
So don't go alone. Go together.
yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Stephen, for taking time being here and such valuable inputs that you have given. I hope people will find it valuable and implement this so that they can go through these tough times.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikhil. Pleasure to hop on, and hope this conversation helps your audience.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
My pleasure.